I've got Reverend Tom Seppel up here who's going to do the invocation for us.
All right, we're going to pray. So if you can be quiet and make your way in. Before I do that, I was talking to Jeff, saying that, Jeff, you probably had the front here set up in the wrong position because everybody's going to be not paying attention to those that are up here because they're going to be looking out there all the time. But anyway, if you had something to do with this grand occasion, would you please stand? I would like to recognize each one that had just a little part in making this happen. If you could stand. Let's give a round of applause to these people. Thank you so much. What a great day in the city of Port Huron and the county of St. Clair, because, you know, God not only provided a beautiful day, but the Tigers won today, and we've hit a grand slam here in Port Huron, and I think people are going to continue to come to this place to make this their special occasion. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the wonderful occasion that we have just to stop, to pause, to dedicate this facility. We thank you for all of the people that have put so many hours of work and encountered so much to make this thing possible. Lord, we pray, Lord, that this facility will draw business, it will draw conventions, it'll draw people to this community, that this community will continue to prosper and grow as a result of this project. We thank you for the commissioners. We thank you, Lord, for everyone that was involved to make this dream a reality. We celebrate today. We give you thanks for the wisdom that you have given each one to make this possible. We pray this in your most powerful name, Jesus. Amen.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Well, my name's Jeff Bohm. I'm the county board chairman. I'm going to be the host here of this event. Going to tell a little bit of the history of this and how we got where today. If you go back into 2010, we received some MDOT bridge mitigation money, and part of that was to develop what's called the EDSP, which is an Economic Development Strategic Plan. And out of that, we had a series of meetings. There was 100 to 120 different people that were involved in it. And out of that plan, the need for a convention center was one of the things that were identified. And I saw Marcy running around from the CVB here, and Marcy would always say in her presentations, it's not how much business we can bring to the area, it's how much business we're losing because we do not have a facility to house us. And I'll never forget, she came in multiple times and talked to us about that. So out of that, Bruce Brown, big round of applause, please, for Bruce Brown. He came in from Grand Rapids. Bruce went out, and the city of Port Huron hired whom I would consider the top consultant in the country to help put this project together, Bill Kruger. And at that time, we were focused on McMorran Arena. We really thought that the convention center was going to be McMorran and Arena enhanced facilities. After going through that study with Bill Kruger, the report came back and said if you don't have a hotel of 125 plus rooms, either attached or adjacent, all you are going to be is a better regional facility. I can tell you that wasn't the intent of the county board. We wanted a facility that could bring people in from the outside to show them this great area. So kind of let the wind out of our sails a little bit, and it was the old, okay, do we put another study on the shelf? And during that period, the Thomas Edison Inn was not doing well. That was well documented. Everybody knew about that. Sometime back in May-ish 2011, Bruce came from the other side of the state through his connections, knew Mr. Wheeler, and Bruce brought John to Port Huron, and we had some meetings with John and sat through them, a few of us, myself, Bill Kauffman, Pauline, I know was in on some, John, Bob Schermer, Gary Fletcher, a handful of us to really talk about taking this facility and attaching a convention facility to this hotel. Did it make sense? And I can tell you, first time I ever met John, don't let the ponytail fool you, was we talked to him over in Grand Rapids, and the thing that they did, like this is quote, because I even wrote it down, he has a knack for taking on very difficult projects that others don't want to touch and make them happen. So we went forward, my board at the time, myself, Commissioner Samasco, Howard Heidemann, Tim Ward, Dave Rushing, Bill Graytop, and Terry London. We started talking about the possibilities of this project and moving this forward. And as part of the project in our Blue Meets Green meetings, a lot of you hear me talk about Blue Meets Green. A lot of you in this room are part of the Blue Meets Green meetings. We talked about the meeting that we had with Mr. Wheeler, and we were looking at the opportunity. Connie Harrison from Baker College was part of those meetings at the time. And Connie, a couple days later, after we said we had the meeting with John, Connie called us up, invited Bill Kauffman and myself over there, and said, the real reason I want to meet with you is Baker College had been looking at a culinary school in this market for quite some time. Could we possibly be part of that? And the culinary school, which is, just south of the property, we've got an expansion going on with the dorms right now over there. She was probably the most ready to go at the time. We literally just had one meeting and they're ready to go to groundbreaking. And we were able to put that together. And when we finally decided to move forward and roll this out, a lot of you, who attended the rollout? Can you raise your hand if you had an opportunity to come see this? That was back in November 2011 when we rolled this out. And, I can tell you, being in my position, it's easy to make these decisions, but we don't have to execute them. And what I mean by that is, I've got to give all the credit in the world to our team that we have. We've got Chris Morris here in the room, that's one of our assistants, Carrie Hepting, our accountant, Jenny Posey, Jenny's running around here, ton of work, Bill Kauffman, and Gary Fletcher. And I can tell you a lot of people know Gary Fletcher in this room. And if it wasn't for Gary, this was, like I said, a very difficult project to put together. I want to give a special round, please, to Gary Fletcher for making it happen. And of course, as I would always call Gary, hey, I hate to put pressure on you, but don't screw this thing up. Trust me, Gary. Obviously, this had its critics as we moved forward. We had a lot of people showing up at our meetings and why we shouldn't be doing this project. And I remember one meeting in particular where we had a lot of people that came out in support of this project. Don Fletcher came and told his story, how this used to be pre-this. They didn't have anywhere when they were trying to recruit doctors to this area. They would take them to St. Clair Inn or they would take them over to Sarnia. They didn't have any signature hotels. They didn't have anything. We had Rick Mills talked a little bit about his lofts in downtown and how everybody thought they were crazy, and they've been super successful down there. Jerry Kramer was there. Randy Myers, probably the most inspiring words, I guess, at that meeting. Randy Myers talked about it. He said, if not this project, then what and when? And if you go back to that time, we were struggling. This area was struggling. And we were really looking for something to hopefully be the catalyst to help leap us forward. And I think today, if fast forward a couple other hotel projects, a couple other significant investments that are happening in our area. So we continue to move forward. This project had some new market tax credits attached to it, real difficult to maneuver through those. A lot of the local lenders didn't have a lot of experience in it. And I see Roy Clutchup and Steve Armstrong in the room, partners in this from Seaway Bank, now North Star. But I'd like to thank Roy and Steve for putting this thing together, because without you guys, it probably wouldn't have happened. So we continue to move forward, and we had actually some changes in election. We had some new commissioners come on board, Carl Tomian at the time, Tom Riley, and our newest member, Mr. McConnell over here. These guys have been very supportive to continue to move this project forward. And I can't thank them enough as being board chair. So here we are today to celebrate really a milestone for this area. I mean, when you sit here, and you look out there, granted, we all live here, so we're used to seeing this. It's pretty hard to really replace it. I had a good conversation with Carl Tommy yesterday. We talked about this. Really, for decades, the waterfront had never really leveraged itself to the fullest for economic development. And if you look at a couple of the big projects that we have going on in this area now, the Riverwalk redevelopment, this project here, exploiting that, I think it's just going to be a home run. So with that, those are my comments. I am going to turn this over, and I'm going to be introducing people. I've got Pauline Repp, the mayor of Port Huron. Pauline. I call Pauline mom, and she calls me son, and I will let her explain that.
Yeah, now that he said that. I'll start with good afternoon, but now I'll explain what he just said. He found out one day that I was old enough to be his mother. Now, that did not make me feel real good, but he now calls me mom. So he calls me once in a while and asks me if he can have his allowance. Thanks, Jeff. Today is truly an exciting day. You know, as Jeff was talking, about 4 years ago, we were facing the imminent closure of the Thomas Edison Inn. And then there was an announcement that was made that several areas of development would take place including the Thomas Edison Inn, the former inn, and the surrounding area. And they'd be paid for with not only private funds, but public funds. Those with this vision were committed to seeing this entire development become a reality. The county board, and Bill Kauffman, the city council, former city manager Bruce Brown, John Wheeler and Orion Construction, Bob Schermer and Meritage Hospitality, Blue Water Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Baker Culinary Institute, to name a few. There's certainly a whole lot of people who were involved with this. 2 years ago, we held a celebration on the opening of the Doubletree, Baker Culinary Institute, and Freighters. Now today, we're celebrating the completion of the Blue Water Convention Center, and this is the last piece of the puzzle. And isn't it breathtaking? All of us must say, it's breathtaking. Been to many conventions around the United States in large cities, and I can assure you that none compete with this view, none. A lot of people were skeptical that this amazing development would actually take place. And certainly many were not convinced that it was the best use of taxpayer money. However, I believe that this new convention center will be a catalyst for spin-off development and job creation and bring thousands of visitors to our Blue Water area. Although there were many involved in the overall development project, it was St. Clair County who took the biggest risk by investing $9 million in the construction of the new Blue Water Convention Center. Jeff Bohm and the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners are to be commended for their courage and leadership, shown by their early and consistent support of this important, vital leg of our economic development strategy. The City of Port Huron is honored to have played a small part in the creation of the largest economic development project that has occurred in our city over the last probably more than a decade. We have much to be thankful for, and I'm convinced that this development is only the beginning of many wonderful projects that are not only going to occur in Port Huron, but in the entire St. Clair County. Thanks to everybody involved, and just a last note, we have a lot to be proud of here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. I'll be looking for my allowance, by the way. Next up, we've got John Wheeler, the man that made it all happen for us here.
I don't know what that means. It's a great team effort. We're really proud as Orion Construction and JB Real Estate Development to have played the role that we were able to do in this public-private partnership. There's so many layers of complexity in this deal, and that's why they sent out the big guns in Washington, D.C., Candice and Senator Stabenow, and they're trying to figure out, what do these guys do with that money? And by the way, you guys can do the slide when we're all done on me. Just get up and down the big monster slide, it'll be fun. There is a couple of key elements to this project, and one of them was the new market tax credit financing deal. I've never done one of those before, and that was serious brain damage. I won't probably do another one of those, but one of the things that was real key was the USDA guarantee that came about. And when we financed this, we were in the midst of the biggest real estate recession, I think, in 100 years. Seriously, you couldn't borrow money for anything. And the request didn't fall on deaf ears. We got a certain way, and then we got to a roadblock. We got the roadblock lifted. It kept moving and moving and moving. And when the county took a vote, and my only saying that I really believe in is that the rewards go to the risk takers. And the county voted to pass a $9 million bond, and those are risk takers in the middle of a recession, in a town that had probably 15% unemployment, maybe 30% unemployment in the construction industry, and you pulled it together and you showed confidence, both the city, the county, the state, the federal government. And you know what? Everyone likes to badmouth politicians. It was awesome. I would go to a lot of the meetings. I would drink before I'd go. I'm not gonna lie about it, because they grill me on, now you're gonna hold $9 million, not a penny more. I'm like, oh yeah. But it really put the parameters on for us to be successful. We are all gonna have to be successful. We're either gonna win together or we're gonna lose together. We made a big investment, Bob and I over there at the hotel, with some other investors, some from this community, that believed in the vision of what the county was finally getting on the track with the city, that we're going to improve this community. And drive through downtown now, from 3 years ago until now, look at the investment that's being made. You guys have created, as the taxpayers and the risk takers, an environment of hope, of entrepreneurialism. You hopefully will make me a lot of money in my hotel. Send your kids here to get married, divorced, I don't care, just have a party. It would be good for us. So we're very honored. Orion Construction, our team, Brian and Ed and Roger and the guys, some are here, some can't be here, because we're opening up another hotel in East Lansing in a couple days. This one holds really close to my heart. I'll never forget this project. I can't even drink it away. I've tried. But Gary Fletcher, Bill Kauffman, the rest of the Jeff, I mean, we've had a lot of fun fighting on the phones, and we also laugh a lot. You guys pulled it off. I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we've got our restaurateur, Mr. Schermer here.
That's a tough act to follow. Just a very quick story. For the last 10 years, I've sailed the Port Huron to Mackinac race. And I don't know if you've ever been here on that Saturday morning, but you have 250 boats parading right past underneath the bridge. And we always hug the Canadian shoreline because there's so much current in the middle of the bridge. But right up here by the bridge, we all enter underneath the main truss of the bridge. And on the boat I'm on, there's 20 sailors. And every time for the last 8 years, the same question is asked over and over again: why doesn't something happen there? And they're all pointing at this site. A year ago, that conversation changed dramatically. It was, wow, what is going on in Port Huron? It was amazing. In the Navy, there's a saying: intrepid sailors win wars, intimidated sailors lose them. It took a lot of guts, and you've heard that before up here, and a lot of courage and leadership to get this done. And John and I are extremely grateful. In the restaurant business, we are always at war because we're fighting a war of relevance, trying to stay relevant to the current generation and the next generation. And I really believe the same is true in your communities. We have to stay relevant. And you really made the investment towards relevance here. It's spectacular. So I'd like to leave you with this. It's an old nautical saying, and it's about the critical nature of leadership. And it goes like this: one ship steers east, another steers west, under the same winds that blow. It's the captain and sails, not the wind and the gales, that determine where this ship will go. And with that, Jeff, thank you. Thank you for everything you did.
Okay, we're going to move into our Washington folks here. We're very happy to have you. We're good, Senator Debbie Stabenow.
Jeff, great to see you. How you doing?
Well, thank you, Jeff, and to the county for doing such a spectacular job and really moving this ahead. And I know we've got county commissioners that are here. I want to thank my friend Howard Heidemann, who kept me posted on everything as it went through. And the mayor didn't say, but Mayor Repp told me she was responsible for the sunshine today. So thank you, Mayor, for that. We appreciate. Good job on that. To all the business partners, I mean, John Wheeler, I'm sorry we drove you to drink, but you did a good job putting this together, and to Mr. Schermer, and to all of the others who've been involved on the business, and what an incredible partnership. You know, this has been a long time coming. I was talking to Congresswoman Miller. Candice and I have been involved in various discussions about various versions of what to do with the hotel, how to support the community. We've tried various things over the years. It is so wonderful to see all of this come together. And I do want to give a shout out. It's been wonderful, by the way, working with Candice, and whether it's on the bridge and the need to get that plaza done, or whether it's protecting the water from Asian carp. I just want to say that Congresswoman Miller has always put Port Huron and St. Clair County first, and we thank you for your service very much. And then also, I just want to say thanks to State Senator Phil Pavlov and State Rep Bohm, Muxlow, and all of the other elected officials that are here, because this really is a team effort to get something done. It was exciting for me when I chaired the Senate Agriculture Committee to know that all of the efforts around rural economic development and those rural loan guarantees we could be put to good use here with the hotel, and to be able to help support, Jeff, what you were doing, as well as the new market tax credits. You know, Thomas Edison, a familiar name in the community, said, if we did all the things we are capable of, we would astound ourselves. And I thought, what a great saying for today. To be able to astound ourselves by everyone believing, putting their head down, going to work, and not giving up. Because I think more than anything else, this is a tribute to the fact that the public sector and the private sector working together never gave up. Never gave up on Port Huron, St. Clair County, on this absolutely phenomenally beautiful piece of land. And the fact is, by not giving up, it made all the difference. There's an adage from a great movie called Field of Dreams that says, if you build it, they will come. And we're counting on that, Jeff. You know, and the fact is, you know, after the plans for the convention center went forward, it made the hotel an attractive investment, and the hotel then attracted a phenomenal restaurant, the Freighter's Eatery and Tap Room, where I understand the secret is all that it's homegrown Michigan food, which is so great. And then that led to needing talented chefs, which led to the Culinary Institute of Michigan's Port Huron campus. So it's one thing after another, connecting talent. And finally, Baker College building the new student apartments, that there will be students here as well that will be able to stay here and enter the job market and be part of economic growth. So when you build it, they will come. You have built it, they are coming. And the developers and investors and the entrepreneurs, the professionals, the community leaders, all working together have made it happen. Thomas Edison also said, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. So I don't know if overalls are still in fashion, but I do know that hard work in Port Huron is in fashion. And that is what this has taken. So congratulations on finally getting to this point where we can cut the ribbon on a building that marks the beginning, the the end of one project, but the beginning of a new and prosperous era for a wonderful, wonderful community. Congratulations.
Okay, next up, we've got a familiar face here, Congresswoman Candice Miller.
See, John is smart enough, he might call you Mom, but he'd really like to call me Grandma. But I know, he knows, I would make him put a tie on, okay? So he better watch himself, this Jeff Bohm. I can't tell you how absolutely delighted I am to be here. I mean, my gosh, this place is fantastic. On time, on budget, spectacular. How good, I mean, how good can it get? It can't get any better than that. Absolutely can't. But you know, we have waited, as the senator was just saying, and others as well, we've waited quite a long time for this. There's been a lot of anticipation about this. But there was also a lot of naysayers about whether or not something like this could ever happen. And so you had to have somebody that had not only the vision and the commitment. When you get into a fight like that, you have to have people that have the political will to do it. And I'll tell you, that list starts with Jeff Bohm as the chairman of the County Board of Commissioners, and it includes all the County Board of Commissioners that have been helpful with this, the mayor, all the stakeholders, people that are involved with Blue Meets Green. I mean, this was very much a team effort. The state reps, the senators, I mean, the federal level, the state level, the local level, everybody was really very focused on this thing. And look at this beautiful, beautiful facility that we have here today. I mean, it is just so unbelievable. It really amplifies the incredible natural resources that we all know we are so blessed to live in this area, but now other people are going to come and see this. You cannot replicate the St. Clair River. You can't replicate this mouth of it coming from Lake Huron, and we literally are under this unbelievable international crossing with the Blue Water Bridge here. There's nowhere else in the world like this. And so this facility is really going to be the anchor, I think, for so much that's going. And as Jeff mentioned and others as well, we all were very, very painfully aware of the very painful economic transition that we all went through, that the entire state of Michigan went through, and the Blue Water area in particular had a very, very bad time. And so when you think about, not that long ago, what we've all come through now, standing here today, with this fabulous facility. And I know it's sort of hard for you to hear me because the acoustics here, because this room is so enormous, which is a good thing, and this entire facility. And as has been mentioned, but I'm just going to mention it again, when we think about the synergy and the excitement that is happening in this area, and how this convention center is going to be an anchor for what's going to go on in the Blue Water area that's already happening with the DoubleTree Hotel, exceeded expectations, putting on more rooms already, and of course Freighter's Restaurant and City Flats is coming, and they're building the new hotel out by the expressway out there, with the marina in the background. The things that are happening downtown, the River Walk, the Baker Culinary Institute. Just driving here today, I was sort of checking out what they're doing with the dorms that are going on. And then again, some of the different things that are taking advantage of our natural resources here in tourism, like the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse. Again, totally exceeded expectations on the amount of people that are coming here. Or our water trail. The water trail here, the Blue Water Water Trail, is the first nationally recognized water trail in the entire state of Michigan. Going right outside these wonderful windows here. So there is some fantastic, fantastic things that are happening here. I'm just proud to be here today and to have watched some of this. And I think as we look forward, it is just going to be incredibly exciting to watch it all go, because I understand there's already a lot of different convention business that has been booked. People are calling. They're going to find out that it's open. And again, I don't know where you can go to have a wedding or whatever you want to do in here and have a view like this. I mean, it just doesn't happen anywhere else. So I want to say thank you to everybody who was involved with this. And I do want to give a special shout out to all the people that actually built this thing, Because, you know, sometimes buildings are sort of, you think, oh, they're just bricks and mortars. No, they're not really, you know. There were plumbers, there were electricians, the people that did everything, all the builders, the people, the engineering, everything that went into this. This was an incredible team effort, and the folks that were involved in that, they've got something to say for the rest of their lives, that they were involved in building this fantastic facility, and I think they're still going to take a lot of pride in that. So thank you very, very much. Good luck.
Okay, next up we've got Senator Phil Pavlov.
Thanks, Jeff, and welcome everybody. We really appreciate having a big room like this filled up with a lot of people. I think what you're witnessing today is a culmination of a whole lot of work. I remember looking at original blueprints on ground utilities that were buried here years ago, and looking at how we can start to work together collectively at the state level and with our utilities to get this project off the ground. And here we are today, enjoying the grand opening, the ribbon cutting. This project is not just a City of Port Huron project. This is a regional project that's going to represent an economic engine for St. Clair County and the surrounding areas for years to come. And to all of the people who raised their hands that had any kind of involvement, and to the people that are here showing support for this project, thank you. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to imagine what's possible for St. Clair County. Thank you.
I think we phone that one in right there. Okay, next up we've got Representative Paul Muxlow.
Most everything has been said. I was just thinking several years ago, Manager Brown talked about high-speed rail to Chicago. And during the conversation, I said to him, wouldn't it be nice for us to be a destination in addition to Chicago? So this is a big step. And where else in a convention hall could you watch international commerce? Everything's been said. Happy for Port Huron and the community, and thank you very much.
Okay. We've got our last speaker here, but I want to say a couple more words before I call this individual up. Like I said earlier, it's easy for us to make decisions to go forward. The tough part's having to put this thing together. And if you ever come to the state of the county, you'll hear me say this. If I never, ever do anything else right in politics, I hired Bill Kauffman. Bill Kauffman. His hair used to be black, too, by the way.
My hair was black and I weighed 240 pounds, and look at me today. So I do have a few words today, but I'm not going to keep you long. I know you all want to get to enjoying the facility and some of the fine food and refreshments we have for you. I do want to thank all those that were involved in planning today's event. Kim and Gina from SMG, Chris, Lydia, Jenny, and John from the county, and Thelma from the chamber, and certainly all of the vendors that have displays here today. You know, the convention center is the culmination of a dream, of a need, of an opportunity. It was made possible by those who recognized and acted on that opportunity. Many of you had a role in making this happen, and I want to thank all of you. I want to thank those who dared, those who advised, those who advocated, and those who were the doers. Thank you, Board of Commissioners, Jeff, and the other commissioners here today, for the opportunity to be part of this project, even though some days, I've got to tell you, I'm wondering why in the world did I do this? I want to thank our advisors who kept us moving down the right path. Bill Kruger, Dave Greisel, who's here somewhere today, Rich McKeegan from SMG, Seth Horton, and Bill Vogan. I want a special thank to our key advisor and counsel. And when I say counsel, I mean the wise one, Gary Fletcher. Gary was our problem solver. He was a friendly ear that listened patiently and tolerated our fits of frustration, which you can imagine we had a few of with the project. I want to thank our contractors who went above and beyond, who found new approaches to this project, saving us a significant amount of money. The community should be very proud of their dedication, of their skill. We ended up with far more of a facility than we expected because of their innovation and their creativity. I want to thank the Convention and Visitors Bureau for your cooperation and for becoming an integral partner in marketing and funding this facility. Thank you to the City of Port Huron for supporting the project from its infancy, for demonstrating your commitment to its success. And thank you, community leaders, many, many of you out there who provided encouragement and strength to the county when we needed it the most. And thank you to the local media for their factual and very positive coverage of this project. Thank you to our continued partners at Meritage, Bob Schermer, Doubletree, John Wheeler, and Baker College and the Culinary Institute, Dr. Connie Harrison, Jim Cummings, Don Torellini, Chef Paula, and Chef Tom. And thank you, the Orion team, John Wheeler, Roger Roykoff, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today, Brian Bush, and Ed Simeone. Ed gave so much to this project. You know, if I'd come by at 7 o'clock in the morning, Ed was here. If I stopped in after work, he was here. He picked up the phone every time you called, and he twisted so many of the contractors' arms. You know, he always went that extra mile. And believe it or not, this week, he even had his wife working on this job for free. So thank you, Ed. Orion, you're really blessed with two great gems in Brian and Ed, and please don't ever let them go. I want to thank the county team that contributed to the project, accounting and finance, the entire administrative staff, building and grounds, IT, the planning department, purchasing, MSU extension, and even the district court played a role in this project. Thank you, Chris, for stepping up and picking up the pieces that many of us left behind during the project. You really kept the organization moving ahead. And a very special thanks to Jenny Posey. You know, when it came time to identify someone that would work on the project daily, someone who would persevere and ensure nothing fell through the cracks, Jenny was it. Jenny has lived and breathed the convention center for a year now. Some days have been rewarding for her, and I'm sure others have been extremely frustrating. But she never gave up, although at least once a week she told me she quit. She watched every penny, she dotted every I, she kept all of us organized, and when needed, she even got us laughing. So thank you, Jenny. Thanks, you've been great on this project. I especially want to thank my wife, Kathleen. She's been very, I told her, She's been very tolerant of long days, interrupted moments, shortened weekends, and a really, really cranky husband. Her smiles, her hugs, and her understanding patience, and her words of encouragement really help me start every day fresh. So thank you, Kathleen. So now, before we begin to enjoy what we've all accomplished together, I'd like you to take a moment and thank one another, because each of you, every single one of you, played an important role in making this opportunity a reality. So, thank you.
Okay, that's it for our speakers. What we are going to do is we are going to go over here for our ribbon cutting.